Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Doing the assignment questions. The first question of what is meant by social control, and also the second question combining of the definition of the social control. So it says that in day-to-day life, the behavior of individuals and groups is orderly because they accept and observe various practices and rules. Now, such acceptances and observance does not take place automatically. There is usually a need to enforce social norms and thus control the behavior of individuals and groups, which is known as social control. Talking about what is formal social control, all the forms of law, legislature, then you have, which is a well-defined structure, and also, which is something, which is something which is consists of written laws and rules, makes a part of the formal social control. Moving ahead to basic forms of social control. Obviously, we have talked about it just now, formal and informal part of social control. Point out one informal means of social control. You may take any. It may be in the forms of rewards, it may be punishments, it may be, it may be in the form of persuasion, or it also may be in the form of redefined norms as well. Moving ahead to define social control, we have just talked about social control. Define or explain informal social control. Now, informal social control is unofficial. It is something which is unwritten, and it is something which is casual in nature and occurs in small groups, and hence is what is informal social control. Explain any three mechanisms or means of social control as listed by Crosby. When you talk about the understanding or the means or the mechanisms of social control, the division of social control, we do talk about, you may talk about the aspect of you may talk about the aspect of how there's this influence exerted by society that takes over, such as persuasion, public opinion, religion, morality, and in extreme cases it's coercion and force as well, and how the concept of coming in, being comprehensive and deviating from is being explained under the mechanism form can be explained here. Briefly explain with an example how informal control operates in the society. You may take it, while I was explaining, I gave you an example of rewards, I gave you an example of punishments, I gave you an example of the redefinement of the norms and the regulations, and also of persuasion, and that is exactly what you may be mentioning here. Next question being asking, why is social control a necessity in the society? So we have an answer, because to have a smooth functioning of society, it is important to have a social control, and to have the control over and to enforce the social norms on the behavior of the people. It is important for us to have the social control. Moving on to explain informal and formal mechanisms of social control. We have just talked about the informal and the formal mechanisms of social control. Moving ahead to define social control and the two forms of social control with examples. Again, talking about and understanding the formal and the informal mechanisms of social control is something that we are going to explain in this in this question as well. I hope all of this is clear to all of you and you were able to make sense out of all of these concepts that we did under this chapter of basic concepts, be it your society, be it your social groups, be it your social control, and you were able to relate all of this to the mechanism of sociology, to the understanding and the curriculum of sociology, and also interrelate it to each other, and hence you were able to answer the questions that were being asked towards the end. And I hope you were able to relate everything and understand everything that was being asked. Thank you so much.